Day 3, the finals day, Sunday of the Davis Cup. Let's start off real quick with Group 4, which did its playoffs. Group 4 is the last group and only has Asia-Oceania left as part of that group. So they only can have promotional playoffs as there's no place further lower to go. And the two teams that really dominated the pools, there were two pools, A and B, were Qatar on Pool B. They went undefeated. And Turkmenistan in Pool A. And they ended up getting into the playoffs, as you see here, and they played the two runner-ups in each of those pools, and they continued their domination. Oh, actually, no, I'm wrong. Qatar actually lost to Singapore. How about that? Singapore had lost one rubber during the week, or one tie, I should say, to Turkmenistan. So Turkmenistan was just really dominant. Singapore was in their same pool, that's why. So even though Qatar had won all its matches, all of its ties in its pool, they weren't able to beat Singapore, and it's Singapore that actually moves on to Group 3 in the promotion, and Qatar gets left behind in Group 4. Wow, big loss by Qatar. We look at Qatar's players, I don't know anybody there. Singapore and Turkmenistan, I don't know anyone there. Sometimes I know people from Singapore, but I don't this time. And Turkmenistan, no, this is the first time Turkmenistan will be in Group 3. And they're really excited, they said. And Singapore as well. So, we go to Group 3 and see who was going to get relegated and promoted in that group. And again, we had a big week of round robin. The two teams that dominated in Pool A, we had Hong Kong, who actually is self-proclaimed that they are the best, and they should be in Group 2. And then at the bottom here we see Vietnam actually did really well. So they played in now this was a little different. This was called a promotion playoff, a promotion pool. They've never had this before. It's not just the top two teams and the runner-ups in each pool. It's actually, they are the top two teams and the runner-ups, but instead of just playing real quick in a quick playoff, do or die like you had in Group 4 and like you've always had before. This was new. I've never seen this before. They actually played sort of a round-robin playoff pool over the weekend. And as you can see, Vietnam continued to be undefeated and even beat Hong Kong, who was undefeated on the other side. And Hong Kong won the rest of theirs, but they did lose to Vietnam, but they were good enough to, since they beat Cambodia and Malaysia and everybody, they will be the second team to get promoted. So Vietnam and Hong Kong, who actually won their respective polls, actually did well in the playoffs too, and they will get promoted. And then the other teams have to stay behind. In the relegation playoffs, Oman and Pacific Oceania, if you can look down here, they were the worst. They didn't even win a tie. Or they didn't win they didn't win a tie. And if you go here, you see that they continue to do the same. But Oman actually lost to Pacific Oceania, so they were the worst. But Pacific Oceania then lost the other two matches they played. So Pacific Oceania and Oman will get relegated to Group 4. So we look up here, just for curious, I know nobody from Vietnam, and they were dominant, but I do not know anybody there, and I don't know anybody, Philip King a little bit from Hong Kong. So that's a wrap for Group 4s and Group 3. And then we have to go to Group 2, and we start the promotional playoffs. The relegations were already set, so Hong Kong and Vietnam, the only ones they're the ones from Asia moving up, and then we have ones from Europe and also Americas moving up. And then those relegations are set for the Group 2, as I just said. So now we do promotions in Group 2. And in Americas, we had El Salvador and Venezuela. Venezuela was leading 2-1 going into the final day. And in El Salvador, they had a lot of rain on Sunday. And they finally got this match off at night. And luckily, Pseudo won for Venezuela, so they didn't even have to play the last match, which would have been really late. And again, the younger Marcello, won the first set like he did on Friday, and then lost after that. Again, I think he's suffering somewhat physically. He's a big guy too. Maybe he just can't find more to his game than just hitting big. And Pseudo, though he is a clay guy, maybe the rain kind of slowed conditions a bit, and he was able to fight from the baseline and take that. So Pseudo and Rodriguez are only about 20, did really well in juniors, are coming up and are actually higher ranked than the Arevalo brothers right now. So I guess this actually worked out, even though the home court advantage didn't work out. Not sure hard court was really the... I mean, I don't think there was anything they could have picked, because Rodriguez and Sudo are pretty flexible. So, Venezuela moves up to Group 1, so that's a big win for them. The Philippines and New Zealand, this was crazy. I thought New Zealand would wrap this up pretty quick on Sunday after losing their doubles, and they didn't. Statham, who's actually ranked 293, way ahead of Gonzalez, who's 933 rank. But the clay, Gonzalez likes the clay better. The Philippines can get pretty wet in slow conditions too. And as you can see, it was a tough 5-setter. He won the first set, did Gonzalez. Lost the next 2 sets, but then came out 7-5, 8-6 in a really long match. It went about 4 hours or so. And they didn't started off to about 2 in the afternoon or so anyway. So after that long match, actually that match might have started about 3 in the afternoon. Anyway, it went into the night, and Gonzalez finally wrapped it up. What a match. It might have went 4.5 hours or so. So then they, instead of playing Archilla this time, they put in Huey, the veteran. Huey's more known for his doubles, but he was going to give it a shot. Michael Venus is also a veteran. Huey's a little bit older, a couple years older, but you know, I would think Venus would have been the pick here. And actually, again, because I think it's clay, Huey jumped up on top, and you can see above at the very top, Venus beat Gonzalez on Friday in a tough one, so maybe he was a little worn out. So Huey jumped up on top. Venus took a while to get going, 5-4. But Huey, he's mainly a doubles guy. He wore out 3-6, 1-6, 3-6, and another 4-hour, 5-hour, 5-setter. This thing ended up about 1:30 in the morning. Crazy, about 10 hours of play that they had there in the Philippines. And unfortunate for them and their home crowd, anybody who was left, Huey ended up blowing a 2-set-to-love lead. So very unfortunate. He couldn't see his team through. He did the best he could. And they're a little bit old. They lost a guy, I forget, he played in America a lot. And now he may be the captain. Now he's no longer the captain. He was a captain, but for the Philippines, I forget his name offhand, but he was a famous Filipino who played in America. And they lost him lately. He got too old, and Huey's getting old, so they need some recharging, does the Philippines. For New Zealand, this means they move up to Group 1. So congratulations to them. Then, of course, we had the Group 2, and these aren't promotional playoffs. These were promotional playoffs. Portugal and Moldova. As you can see, Albot, and I saw a lot of this, won an incredible one. Lost the first set, actually was down 2-0, and came back from the grave and won the next 3 sets, 3-4, and 11-9 in the 5th. He basically amazing. He was exhausted. Albot was passing out on the sideline. His captain was picking him up and throwing him back on the court. And Sousa actually looked like he had more energy. And Sousa was actually up in that 5th set, had the break, serving for the match. Then he had a break later again, serving for the. And then in the end, Albot got the break and served it out. It was actually incredible, and you just have to give Albot a lot of credit. I mean, it was an incredible fight. I don't know what to say. That it was. I think the crowd pushed him through more than anything. It was shocking. The whole match, it looked like Sousa should have won, and the crowd pushed him through. Conditions a little bit on Albot's side, but it was mainly just the crowd that he fought so hard for. And for what? For his young teammate Dubarenko to lose anyway. Dubarenko honestly just looked extremely nervous. That 5-7 scoreline wasn't even as good as it looked. Machado was was taking a while to get warmed up. He's older and he's been injured, so he took a while to warm up. It was just a bad match, and then once he warmed up, he killed at Dubarenko and was up by a lot in the last set. And finally, Dubarenko started playing tougher, made it a little bit tough at the end. But Dubarenko was just, I think, extremely nervous trying to serve for this match in the 5th live rubber. And Machado, the vet, saw them through. So even with the conditions, the indoor hard court, the home crowd, and all of Albot's heroics, a former great junior, Albot, but he's a little too small for the pro ranks. But anyway, all of this, and the guy was dying, Albot, they were carrying him on the court, all of this, and Moldova still loses. They fought so hard in February, won a close one with Hungary, fought hard again in April, all will come to this last 5th live rubber. And Dubarenko can't. I'm sure he's extremely disappointed. He's young, though. He'll learn. And Portugal, probably, they're definitely the higher ranked, better team, and they go on to Group 1. And then finally, Latvia and Finland. This is mainly Old Galbish, but a little bit of Labidis too. But they had already won anyway, and they're through. They won on Saturday in their doubles. Galbish won his dead rubber, and that's a wrap on that. But good for them. What else do we have? Yes, Dominican Republic. They won a couple of dead rubbers, but they had already gotten through the day before. That now we're in. They actually are staying in Group 1. This is for relegation, so they aren't going to get relegated. I'm sorry. Let me just take a quick look at that again. Yeah, that would be Chile is actually going to go all the way down to Group 2. That's a shame after losing Gonzo to retirement. Okay, and then Indonesia. This thing was wrapped on Saturday, and they went on and run the rest of theirs too. Rungcat's just having a terrible year. Indonesia gets relegated to Group 2. Taiwan stays up in Group 1. And let's see what else we have here. Oh yeah, the Slovak. Oh, this is not a relegation playoff. This is actually a playoff for the right to play relegation. I mean, you don't want to have to play relegation, but Sweden's going to have to. They're going to be playing a relegation in in October, and this was one where Sweden did have a last reprieve because of their tough doubles team, Brunstad, Strum, and Lindstad on Saturday. And then Eriksson actually beat a very tired-looking Martin. Martin got the first set, but after that he had nothing. And Eriksson he fought hard because of the home crowd and what have you. But Eriksson played well in the fast deco color, was able to pull that out. And then lastly, there was Lacko and Arvidsson. And I was really looking forward to see what happened here because Lacko can get so wacko sometimes that I wasn't even sure he'd actually win this. And I lost the stream. The stream went away. I did a lot of tweeting, but nobody else seemed to know. Even the Davis Cup site didn't know till it was all over. So somehow Slovak Republic fell off the map for a little bit there. But in the end, Lacko won a pretty easy 3-setter. He's just a much higher ranked, better player than Arvidsson, and that's as simple as that. And he likes the fast deco color. He doesn't have to work too hard for the points. And so Slovak, as I thought, it was harder than I expected, but Sweden fought hard. But they really need Soderling. They're going to now have to try to fight in October to stay in Group 1. And then, of course, we had Slovenia already wrap theirs up on Saturday, and that was that. So Blasrola didn't even play much. I wouldn't think he's injured too bad. He retired in this match, but I think he just didn't want to, probably was feeling a little something and didn't want to risk it. No need to in a dead rubber. So both Slovenia and Slovak stay up, and both South Africa and Sweden, former good ones, especially Sweden, they have to fight in October not to get relegated. Now the World Group playoffs. Spain had already wrapped it up, and Mark Lopez, the doubles player, actually won his singles. Can you believe it? And Verdasco stayed behind and played a singles, but Stikowski and Dogopolov actually left to go to St. Petersburg, Russia, because they're going to have a indoor tournament this week. So an ATP event, so they had to race there. But Verdasco's playing there as well. But it's his hometown of Madrid. He was so happy for the victory by Spain, he decided to stay around and play a dead rubber. He won it really quickly, and now he's off. And his first round opponent, Stikowski in St. Petersburg. So that's interesting. But that just shows you how much Spain loves their Davis Cup. It's a big, Nadal coming back, Verdasco staying behind. This is a big reason why they're so good. It's not just how great they are, but they love it. Okay. Let's move on. Another World Group match here. Oh, Netherlands already wrapped theirs up. Did they win? Yeah, they actually 5-zip. They actually won. Meltzer actually played with a bad shoulder. I don't know why. What he's doing. And then this one was an exhibition match because Maroc actually couldn't even play. Austria actually ran out of players. That's how bad it was. Meltzer probably shouldn't have been. So they're so injured right now, that whole team. There's another guy, Peya, who was injured and couldn't even play after he got hurt in the U.S. Open, though he did get to the doubles final at the U.S. Open. So, yeah, what a terrible, terrible ending to the year for Davis Cup for the Austrians. They've got to really figure out their fitness issues and their age. They're a little bit old, so they got to deal with this. Holland is back in the World Group for the first time in 3 years. All right, moving on. Who do we have next? Okay, Murray. A big doubles win with him and Fleming. They were up 2-1 coming into the last day. And Murray probably really wanted to wrap this up because for sure Evans isn't that great on clay. And they did. They wrapped it up. Or Murray did. Dodic seriously, Murray's a little bit tired right now, but he was pretty fresh going into the U.S. Open. Doddage wasn't even fresh going into the U.S. Open, had a really good U.S. Open, played all this tennis here for Croatia, and he just was exhausted. The only reason it was even as close as it was is because he fought like a dog in front of the home crowd. The home crowd was really pushing him. He fought so hard, but Murray could have almost done this with his eyes closed, and he played really well. Murray did. He played well the whole weekend, even with his little back problem he had. And great one for the Brits. Leon Smith took over 3 years ago, and England was actually playing a relegation playoff in Group 2, trying not to get relegated to Group 3, if you can believe it. That was 3 years ago. Now look, they are back in World Group where they belong. And part of it's Murray, but most of it's Leon Smith. He got the whole team fired up. He got Daniel Evans playing great. He got Jonathan Murray to go help out the doubles, Colin Fleming, and another guy who wasn't on this time, but Ward. James Ward played great in a couple of these matches, and a couple other guys. And just really, what a turnaround for the Brits. And then you add in Murray, and they have a shot. If they can all get together and play, they could make some damage in the World Group. So great stuff by the captain, Leon Smith, just with gusto and intensity, and just getting everybody to care again. And even the crowd, he got the crowd back in it. The Scottish crowd too when they played in Scotland. And by the way, the last time that England actually won a World Group tie, Murray wasn't even born yet, 27 years ago. And one last thing, out of all the fighting that England did the last couple of years to get all the way back to the World Group, none was a bigger fight than in April when they were down 2-0 to Russia and came back from the grave and won 3-2, winning their doubles on Saturday, and again with Ward and Evans winning on Sunday. That was in April, and then they had the undermanned Croatia without Cilic here. And now they're in the World Group. It's just amazing. Moving on. What do we have here? Yes, this was already wrapped up, so we had dead. Lammer, the veteran, had a nice little victory in the dead rubbers, and Shudanelli lost, but that doesn't matter. But they're in, and now Wawrinka's just hoping that Federer plays next year. They could be like a Berdych-Stepanek team if Federer would play, which would be great. And then here we have Germany. Yes, Germany took care of Brazil, but they did need an extra day. Bellucci all of a sudden came out and said his right shoulder was really hurting. He's a lefty, so that's not on the serve or anything, but on his backhand. That would really bother him. He said it hurt bad on Friday, and it's even worse now, but he had to play because they have no singles players. Well, whatever. Brands, this Dunlop Fort ball was too quick for him, to be honest, low bouncing anyway. Brands just pumped, was in trouble in the beginning of the first set because he was nervous, but then he just started really popping it, keeping it low, flat shots at the knees of Bellucci. And even if Bellucci was 100% healthy, he would have trouble with this, let alone that he's injured. So it was pretty close. I think Brands was nervous, and then when he tried to serve it out at the end, he had a super long game. It was a farce. He even admitted so, but it was just nerves by Brands. Oh, and by the way, the reason Brands was even playing was because Kohlschreiber had some dental work done, and they said that the antibiotics or something could make his stomach sick. He was okay Friday, but he did get sick by Sunday. So, this tennis world, the crazy stuff just keeps happening. So Kohlschreiber couldn't play, but Brands did the job. Kohlschreiber probably would have been even easier, but yeah, Bellucci's not 100%. This is not a good ball for him or a good surface, forget it. And then Florian Mayer, no problem with Dutra Silva, and that's the end of that. Germany, great pick with the Dunlop Fort tournament ball. Great job by them, and they're on. They're going to go in the World Group again. Brazil lost a tough one with America, remember, back in February in the USA, so kind of a shame for them, and they need to get healthy, especially Bellucci. He's had a terrible year. Okay, Australia, after losing their doubles, Poland stayed alive. It was a close doubles. Now they had Kubat, but you know what? This clay, this has backfired on Poland big time, making this slowish kind of clay. It just was great for Tomic, and he served big, and Kubat's a little tired. What Kubat did do in the second set, though, he lost a close first set, and then he just pumped it up and went nuts, just berserk kamikaze, bum-rushing the net, bum-rushing Tomic, got up 5-1 before Tomic actually amazingly recovered, calmed himself down, and he even told Pat Rafter at 5-2, 2-5, hey, I'm feeling good. And so that's unusual for Tomic. If he can keep this kind of great mental abilities, he will go far in singles and in the ATP Tour. That's been his problem. So he kept his cool, just stayed on the baseline, and finally started, backed off a little bit, got the balls back again. Kubat was going crazy trying to be super aggressive, but the clay was a little slow. Tomic got some stuff back, started making some passing shots. Kubat, after the crowd was really pumping up, he kind of got dejected when he couldn't get to finish the set. And next thing you know, Tomic broke back again, got it to a tie break, and then won the tie break. And then Kubat was totally dejected. Got broken right away, and that was the end of that. So just not enough energy by the Poles, injury issues, fitness issues. Pearson, you look at him, he retired in his match, so in a dead rubber against Kyrgios. So just a disappointing ending for the Poles over all the way around. And what do we have here? Belgium and Israel, what a match. After the day off on Saturday for Yom Kippur, the Belgians said it really helped them a lot to have that day off because they really regrouped after losing that tough doubles, being down 2-1. Weintraub with that incredible singles on Thursday. So the day off, if they had played back to back to back, it might have been over. But after the day off, they revved themselves back up. Darcis was playing great, so he said to Bemelmans, look, they were going to actually try to put Rochas in instead of Bemelmans, but Rochas said he just doesn't have the stamina anymore. He's too old for a 5-setter. So they put Bemelmans in, and Dudi Sela again said he had tons of problem with, he doesn't realize it, but it's a fast ball, but the slow clay. So they made the clay kind of slow, but the ball's fast. It's got Sela all screwed up, though. I thought he played pretty well. He hung in there pretty tight, but Bemelmans was a little extra aggressive, more aggressive than he was against Weintraub. Took this faster ball and really whacked it right away, got to the net more. Did get the first set 7-5, but then Sela with a more patience than he showed on Friday, made sure to keep in the rallies longer, really fought hard. Bemelmans got himself a little, he got impatient, started making more errors, and Sela got the break and won the second set, but he had to work so hard, he really had no energy for that third set. He got broken right away and just said, heck with it, tanked it, saved energy for a fourth set, fought hard again, but this is too much for Sela at his age, kind of like Rochas, to be trying to play these long points and work the points and stuff. Bemelmans worked the point. When he had his chance, he banged it, that fast ball. He got the break when he needed it and served it out. So that kept the Belgians in it, got it 2-2, and then Darcis is just on fire. With this ball and the surface, he just stays off the clay. He's off the baseline, gets a lot of balls back, and the minute he has an opening, bam, he hits the fast ball through the court. Bemelmans actually did that a lot better. Darcis, I think, talked to him, so Bemelmans did that better on Sunday. But Darcis did that, and Weintraub might have been a little tired from Friday, though, or his Thursday match, though he said he really wasn't because he had the day off, and that's probably true. And even his captain said he was playing pretty well. It's just Darcis was impossible. So Weintraub could really get some errors from Bemelmans and some bad serving from Bemelmans, and use his aggression because Bemelmans wasn't in the right frame, too defensive. He didn't get that from Darcis. Darcis had the right balance of defense, and then went for it. And Weintraub was just all out of sorts. So incredible comeback. Belgium's so excited. They're back in the World Group and really excited. And did this all without Melis, by the way. So great stuff. And a new captain came on about a year ago. Israel's very upset, but they'll have a chance again. They'll be in Group 1. And then we have Colombia. Oh, what a way this went. This Japanese and Colombia. I got to see the Nishikori. He just really blitzed Geraldo. I mean, Geraldo said he was a little tired from his big one against Sueda on Friday. But you know what? The surface is quick, the Deco turf they were using. And I'll tell you, I mean, quicker than what you usually get on the ATP Tour, let me tell you that. And Nishikori just upped his aggression. He ping-ponged it like Federer, like the best of Federer could do. And he really blitzed. I mean, I don't think Geraldo could have done anything at 100%. It wouldn't have mattered. And Geraldo actually in the second set, or by the third set, really caught up to the speed of Nishikori and was really taking it quick too. And I mean, that for a clay quarter, that's the fastest. I mean, Nadal wouldn't have been able to handle these two. I can tell you that. It was like it was ping pong. It was basically ping pong. And Geraldo hung on, and he finally just couldn't hang on anymore. Got a late break, and boom, it was over. So he did the best he could. And then Sueda, who wasn't really aggressive enough against Geraldo on Friday. He had a big talk with his captain. The captain was doing a great job. The captain's name, Ueda. He's done a great job with his team. And he talked Sueda into saying, look, hold your serve, play aggressive, and the breaks will come. Well, they didn't come the first set because Fala, I think Sueda was still a little nervous and didn't play his best aggression. And Fala can be aggressive and take it early and took it. But after that, Fala's been out again with injury problems again. He's not in his best form. Sueda started pumping up the aggression. Fala got nervous, went down a break and lost. I think Fala was up the break. No. No, he was up. I think he was up a break. No, that was. I don't. No. Sueda got the one break in the second set, and then the third set, I think Fala got up 1-0 or something, or 2 or 3. No, 3-1 or 3-0. He got up 3-0, and then Sueda won the next 5 and went up 5-3, if I'm correct. And then, oh no, that was the second set. I'm sorry about all this. The second set, that's what happened. Sueda was actually down a set and a 3-1, and he finally really started charging, or 3-0, got up to 5-3, and then Fala held for 5-4, then Sueda served it out. So Sueda really turned it around big time with his aggression in the second set. And he usually doesn't do this. He usually is too tired physically and mentally a little bit worn out too all the time. So he was able to do that. Then he jumped up in a break in the third set, gave up the break again, but came back and won it, and then won the fourth set finally. So just great play. Fala was very, very frustrated, very negative is what the captain for Japan said. And Sueda was crying after. This was the greatest victory of his life. He, for the first time, showed the mental strength and the physical strength he maybe never showed in his life. And just a great job by Sueda. And finally, Japan wins a 5th rubber in a playoff. They always lose these, and they lost it to Israel a couple years ago, but they got this. This was Colombia's chance for the first time to get to the World Group. They didn't quite get there, but they're good, and if they can stay fit and get a little more fit and get some more players to help them, they can do this. But they have to have the right draw, too. They keep getting unlucky draws. But Japan's back in the World Group after getting knocked out for just a year, and that's great for them, and it's exciting to see them there. And hopefully their fitness is all their issue, too. Finally, we go to it's the Czech Republic, but they already wrapped their doubles up on, well, I guess I missed them here. Well, they wrapped their doubles up, and so let me see, I can't pop them. Oh, they're there. And they had some dead rubbers, and Zabalas and Meyer got some consolation for Argentina over Rizol and Vesely, but I guarantee you they were partying late the night before. But great job by the Czechs, fast surface. And then finally, this one was a barn burner. You kind of knew that Serbia had a chance to make a comeback here, and they did. Ranić, fought hard. He was down a break right away, got the break back. He's playing great on clay now. He's moving well, returning, and his defense, too. I think people talk about Isner, but what about Ranić on clay? He got the break back on Djokovic, and Djokovic has a habit these days of jumping up a break on people and giving it right back, so it's interesting. Again, his energy, his mental, I'm not sure where he's all at, but anyway, he's a little tired, of course, right now. But anyway, it got to the tie break, and he pumped up the aggression. It was too much for Ranić, with a lot of top dressing, yet still a relatively decent medium to medium fast court because the base was hard. The Dunlop Fort clay court ball, the indoor air was pretty quick there, but a lot of top dressing, so a little slower for that end. Just perfect for Djokovic. He jumped with big forehands, jumped up 4-zip and won the tiebreak 7-1, and then got the early breaks the next 2 sets. And Ranić fought, but he really looked like he was fatiguing out, just fatigued at the end. Djokovic was too much. And then this one, Pospisil has a bad shoulder. He's going to have surgery or an MRI now. He's been acting up last weeks or so, and he even had an MTO. He almost got broke early in the first set, had an MTO on it. Barely hung on in that first set, but when they got to the tiebreak, he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. And Sarvic took the tiebreak. He was up 4-zip and then took it. And then took an easy second set, was serving for the match and for the tie at 5-3, and Pospisil broke back. It was an amazing guts by Pospisil. Got it to a tiebreak, was down 6-3 in the tiebreak, got back to 6-all, and then an amazing long rally that Tipsarevic got for 7-6, and then an amazing point where Pospisil served and volleyed, made a great volley where he dove and ended up on the ground. The volley was forehand cross-court, dipping over the net, dropping on the sideline, and Tipsarevic ran all the way across the court, and he dove to the ground and got the ball back in for the tie and the rubber and a chance for another final for Serbia. He hit the dirt. Both men were on the dirt at the end of the match. It was amazing. Pospisil crying, Tipsarevic in gleeful and in euphoria. He called all his teammates over. They jumped on top of him. Djokovic was the first one there. Incredible drama in this match. The drama was because Canada fought so hard. Pospisil fought so hard. Ranić. These guys are going to be really great on the ATP now for this experience, and they're going to be great in more Davis Cups to come. So great stuff by them, but Serbia is once again in the final, and they will be playing the Czechs. which is, fitting because it's been Serbia, the Czechs. Serbia won it in 2010, Spain in 2011, the Czechs last year, and those have been the top teams lately.